So this set of notes deals with the relationship between something called total revenue, abbreviated TR, and the price elasticity of demand. So let's first define what total revenue is. Total revenue is the amount paid by buyers and received by sellers of a good. And it's a very simple formula. Total revenue is the price of the good times the quantity sold. So, if the price increases, what happens to total revenue depends on the elasticity of demand. And this has some common sense. If the price rises, there are two things that occur. The sellers receive more for each good that they sell, but the seller also sees a reduction in quantity demanded because of the price increase. Now, if the price increase offsets the decrease in demand, decrease in quantity demanded, total revenue will increase. So, if demand is inelastic, unresponsive to changes in price, then total revenue increases. If demand is elastic, then total revenue decreases. In this case, the increase in price is smaller than the decrease in quantity demanded. Let's see this on a graph. So on a graph, on the demand curve, so here is our axes that we were using before. Suppose we have this demand curve. So at a price of 4, or let's do 3, it's easier to see. At a price of 3, quantity demanded is 50. So this is our price. This is our quantity demanded. And so total revenue is the area of this rectangle. And at that point, P times Q is equal to 3 times 50, or 150. So that's our total revenue. So that's where we find the total revenue on a demand curve. So now let's look at two different types of demand curves, an elastic one and an inelastic one. Oops. So starting with an inelastic demand. So, when P equals $4, quantity demanded is 100. So total revenue is 400. So our total revenue when price is equal to 4 is the area of that rectangle. When P is 5, quantity demanded is 90. So total revenue is equal to $450. So price went up, and because the price increase was larger in percentage terms than the quantity demanded decrease, we had a rise in total revenue. And the new total revenue will look like this, which has a larger area. So the red region, the original total revenue, is smaller than the purple region, which is the new total revenue. So now let's take the case of elastic demand. In the case of elastic demand, this was our demand curve. And with elastic demand, we had a price elasticity of demand of 3. When P is equal to 4, quantity demanded equals 100. So total revenue is equal to $400. When P is equal to 5, quantity demanded was 50. So total revenue was $250. So here, in the case of elastic demand, a rise in the price makes quantity demanded fall by a larger percentage than the price increased. And so the effect on total revenue is a reduction. So here is our initial total revenue in the red, and that red region is larger in area than the new total revenue in purple. And so total revenue has declined. So to summarize, when demand is elastic, so where the elasticity is greater than 1, P and total revenue move in the same direction. When demand is inelastic, P, so that's where the elasticity is less than 1, P and TR, price and total revenue, move in opposite directions. When demand is unit elastic. So when the elasticity is equal to 1, then total revenue remains constant as P changes. There's no effect. So the most common demand curve we're going to use in this class is a linear demand curve, a straight line. And linear demand curves have some interesting properties with elasticity. So a linear demand curve has constant slope. But different price elasticities. So on a linear demand curve, there's an inelastic region and an elastic region. So the inelastic region is where we have low price, high quantity demanded. The elastic region is where we have high price and low quantity demand. And so on a demand curve, it'll look like this. So here's our demand curve. We have price here, quantity here. And you can verify for yourself that when you are above the midpoint, which is right here, that region is the elastic region. Below the midpoint, where we have low price and high quantity, we have inelastic demand. And at this point, we have unit elastic demand. So there are other elasticities besides the price elasticity of demand. And so we're going to talk a little bit about some of those elasticities in the next set of slides.